Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah.
Sounds good.
Let me make sure we're good there.
Okay.
Test, test.
Okay.
Test. Hello? Test.
I don't have the button. I'm just-
Right, this is
Remember, at
deactivated.
7:30, we're good.
Okay. We,
Mics are on all the time now. They do not.
the green button don't work anymore.
Correct.
So they can't be muted individually?
Yes,
Okay.
that's-
So it picks up all the crosstalk?
That's correct.
Nah, got it. Got it.
Well, that's interesting.
All right. Okay. Good evening, everybody. According to my Apple Watch, it's 7:30, so we'll go ahead and we'll resume, we'll go ahead with the meeting. So I'd like to welcome everybody to this meeting of the Village of Skokie Zoning Board of Appeals. The Zoning Board of Appeals is created by the statutes of the state of Illinois and by the ordinances of the Village of Skokie for the purpose of granting proper case relief from the strict terms of our zoning ordinances. The decision of this board to either grant or deny relief will be based upon the evidence presented to it and how that evidence is related to the standards for granting relief. All persons who have an interest in a case, either as a petitioner or as a member of the public, either supporting or opposing the petition, or as an independent witness, will be given a chance to speak on the record and to express his or her points of view. The Zoning Board of Appeals is not a court of law, and therefore we do not follow the strict rules of evidence. However, this hearing will be conducted in such a manner as to hear only competent evidence or statements. Questions as to procedure, interpretation, and of the admissibility of statements or evidence will be ruled upon by Corporation Counsel Tyler Kobilski, and his legal decisions will be binding upon this board. Certain cases require covenant running with the land. This will be prepared and recorded by the Village of Skokie Legal Department, and this is done at the petitioner's expense. Whether or not a covenant is required is a determination to be made by the Corporation Counsel at the conclusion of each individual case. If a covenant running with the land is required, it cannot or will not be prepared until our court reporter has returned to the Zoning Board of Appeals a transcript of these proceedings. The Village of Skokie will notify each petitioner when the covenant has been prepared and is ready for signature. No building permits or certificates of occupancy can be issued until the covenant is signed by the petitioner. Should a petition for variation be denied, or should a covenant not be required, the Zoning Board the Board of Trustees will authorize a refund of any required fees. Should it be necessary for the petitioner to request a continuance due to lack of preparation, a case continuation fee of 1/2 of the original application fee is due prior to the rehearing date. This request must be made before any testimony begins. All petitioners must receive a vote of the majority of the zoning board present in order to decide any matter under consideration. Our full complement is 9 members. However, tonight's complement is 8 members, making 5 votes necessary to make a determination on a petition. Okay, and that being said, we have one case tonight, which is 2023-02Z, 4233 Main Street. And in this matter, I will ask the Corporation Counsel, has proper notice been served and notarized?
Yes, notice is proper and correct.
All right, great, thank you so much. Okay, and then the chair, as of right now, since I mentioned we did have a member missing, we'll go ahead and call the roll. Commissioner Salovey.
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Putras is absent. Commissioner Kirkpatrick.
Present.
Okay, Commissioner Jacobson.
Here.
All right, Commissioner Perlin.
Present.
Very good. Commissioner Worth.
Present.
Commissioner Arden.
Here.
Commissioner Pollock.
Here.
And the chair is obviously here, or else somebody else is speaking into the microphone. So, all right, so we have 8 people with 1 absent. Again, that means we need 5 votes necessary to make a determination on a case. Now, next on the agenda, we have the approval of minutes from our previous meeting, which was March 1st of this year. I hope everybody's had a chance to look at the minutes of the previous meeting where we heard 2023-01 Z 3500 Dempster Street which incidentally enough was also a off-street parking space requirement petition, which was approved with no conditions. So if everybody's had a chance to look at the minutes, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes as they are.
I'll make a motion.
All right, Commissioner Worth, thank you so much. Do I hear a second?
Second?
All right, Commissioner Jacobson, all in favor, voice vote, please.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody against? No? Okay. Minutes from the previous meeting are approved. Thank you as always, Marlene. Okay. Now, okay, so with that being said, next, we will go ahead and we will go right into our case, the 2023-02Z 4233 Main Street. Are the petitioners here for this case? Hi, would you like to please come on up to the podium? And while you're doing that, Commissioner Worth is presenting your case for this evening. So, Nick, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. I'll begin by just reading the legal notice. So this is case 2023-2Z 4233 Main Street. Mina Scarabian, on behalf of Melvin and Jasmine Dillard, request a variation in order to operate a dentist office resulting in 10 off-street parking spaces provided rather than 12 off-street parking spaces as required by section 118-218-4 of the zoning chapter of the Skokie Village Code in a B1 commercial district. We also have the petitioner statement. Thank you very much for the statement. And being a medical use dental facility, there is a high number of required parking spaces, 5 parking spaces per 1,000 square feet. In order to accommodate the most parking spaces that we can on the property, we propose to close off one of the two driveways, specifically the existing drive along Main Street. Without a variance to reduce the number of required on-site parking spaces, we cannot reasonably use the property. There is street parking available to employees that will supplement the 10 legal parking spaces that we can legally place on the property. Please note that one of the 10 parking spaces we propose is a fully accessible one. Once again, thank you for that statement, and I'll just briefly cover the staff report. So thank you very much, staff, for this report. Site information: building was constructed in 1966. Parking on site currently has driveways on both Main Street and Tripp. Once again, petitioner is requesting a variation in order to operate a dentist office and provide 10 off-street parking spaces rather than the 12 as required by village code. From the Appearance Commission, if the petitioner alters the exterior facade, they will be required to appear before the Appearance Commission for a certificate of appropriateness. I just wanted to note that for the record from the Appearance Commission. And finally, I will go through the staff analysis. Thank you very much, staff, for this analysis. So we had Fire Department, Community Development Department, and Traffic Engineering Division were the only departments to comment. And from Fire Department, most comments related to the construction portion of the project. Fire Department did note that the removal of the driveway to Main Street will reduce access to the site, but with access from Tripp and the public alley, access to the site is no way prohibited. So that was good to hear. From Traffic Engineering Division, the Traffic Engineering Division does normally recommend compliance with the code, but the tenant is making improvements to add parking on site and add one additional parking space on Main Street. So they say that the closing of this driveway to Main Street will reduce a vehicular pedestrian intersection point along Main Street. And 2 additional notes from Traffic Engineering. When plans were submitted, the sidewalk along Main Street will need to get replaced per Village of Skokie standards, as well as the gravel area in the Main Street right-of-way will need to be replaced with grass, topsoil, and seed or sod to be consistent with the right-of-way west of the subject site. So thank you to Traffic Engineering. Finally, Community Development Department. They concur with the Traffic Engineering Division's comments that ideally they'd like to see compliance with parking requirement for code. In this case, the plan is to add additional legal parking spaces to the site, remove the driveway to Main Street, which in turn will add an additional on-street parking space. So although not officially, with the addition of the parking space along Main Street, it's really just going to be 1 parking space short of code. So wanted to add that, and also that the staff feels that the parking demand will be met on a day-to-day basis on site. In the event that there is overflow, parking is allowed on Main Street and Tripp, and the on-site and nearby parking should ensure employees and customers will not be parking throughout the neighborhood. So, once again, thank you very much for the staff report. Those were the highlights I thought I should include, and thank you very much. Looking forward to the rest of the hearing.
All right, very good. All right, thanks, Nick. Well done. Hi, good evening.
Good evening. My name's Betsy Gensberg, Sarah E.F. Gensberg Limited. I am the architect for the doctor, and I'd like to introduce.
Okay, Betsy, if you could, please, real
Yes.
quick, just could you spell your last name for a
It's
record?
Gensburg Ltd.
Okay,
And
great.
we're in Northbrook, Illinois.
Okay, thanks, Betsy. And your name, ma'am?
Hi, good evening. My
Hi.
name is Jasmine Dillard. I am co-owner of Dental Art Specialists, and we are located in around the area in Evanston and trying to expand here.
All right, awesome. And that's, can you spell your last name, Jasmine?
D as in dog, Illard.
All right, Jasmine Dillard. Awesome. All right, great. So would one of you like to tell us why we're here tonight?
We are here to add parking on site for medical services.
Okay. And we have in our packet your preliminary, drawings and schematic and stuff like that. So you want to just tell us a little bit? I know that Commissioner Wirth's already told us in pretty much detail as to what's going to happen, but is there anything else that you would like to add as far as how things are going to transpire?
Not really. I think it's a good use of the parking lot. I don't think it will deter at all from the neighborhood, and it meets the most parking that we can get on the site.
Yeah, right. No, I agree. Though that being said, I will ask Commissioner Wirth what his findings are on your request.
Thank you very much. So, in terms of findings, there were two recommendations that I believe should be followed along with staff, and so I'll go through those briefly in 1 second, but I do have one question just around the capacity, and what is the normal capacity of the facility, and I guess what would you anticipate your operational capacity to be, in terms of how many parking spots would be in use? How many chairs would there be, for example, and would they all be full or half full?
To-
Just in general.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My name
Could-
is John Naser. I'm the general contractor, and I'm specialized in designing and building dental clinic with the
Okay.
help of Sarah Ginsberg as an architect.
Could you, I'm sorry, sir, could you spell your last name for the record?
Naser.
Naser, okay. Yeah, before you start, Mr. Naser, I would ask all three of you, could you please raise your hand? I just need to swear you in real quick. Do you affirm that the testimony you are about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge or belief? Please answer in the affirmative.
Yes.
All right, great, thank you so much. Okay, go ahead and please proceed.
Well, obviously, they're operating already a dental office down in Evanston. On an average day, normally because there's two doctors alternating, there's a husband and wife. I think he's the pedo and she's the pedo and he's the ortho. So they work on a different shift and a different time. So I would say in a general idea, normally they operate 3 operatories in any given time. So based on that categories, we always believe that we assign 2 parking per operatory. So you're probably, the max you're gonna use 6 parking spot in any given day. That's normally the average day. Now, if things get busy and we want them to be busy so it could pay more taxes to the town. So, you know what, we're hoping that with having the tent parking and the street parking will accommodate their customers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, great, all right, thanks.
Yeah, so, I mean, with that was my main question, so thank you for confirming that there seems to be available capacity there based on the operational capacity you described. And so with that, I'll read the staff recommendation, the first being that the sidewalk along Main Street will need to get replaced for Village of Skokie standards, so that's pretty straightforward, we're filling that in, so that will continue our great pedestrian ways along Main Street. And then also that the gravel area in the Main Street right-of-way must west of the existing driveway be replaced with grass, and as stipulated as topsoil and seed or sod. So those are the two recommendations
Yeah.
that I believe we should follow.
Right, so and basically what Commissioner Worth is saying, that these are two conditions that would be made in order for you to receive your approval. I don't think it's a monumental ask on those.
We have no objection to that.
No objection. Okay, great. Thank
Great.
you so much. There is, anything else you got right now, Nick?
No, that's all.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
But before we head into that a little bit more, there is something that staff had brought up to me regarding a Main Street redevelopment study that has recently been approved as of August 21st. So Brian, could you please let us know
Yeah,
how this may affect the petitioner?
the board recently, I believe a couple months ago, approved a Main Street redevelopment study to kind of study the area around Main Street near Crawford, east of that, potentially, I don't know if it goes too far west, to try to help, redevelopment, some new ideas, there's gonna be some different things that's been discussed and being proposed, they're more pedestrian friendly, which I think the removal of the driveway does attest to that. There's potentially some other things that study's not complete and there's no, official findings yet. Ground signs, pole signs, I know are one thing that's already kind of been preliminarily discussed. I don't know that potentially could affect the existing sign there. I didn't know if there's any thoughts on a wall sign and the removal of the ground sign, or if the ground sign's thinking to stay. I'm not sure. I can't guarantee that if the study passes and recommendations are implemented, that if the ground sign were to be replaced in a year or two, that it would be available to be. So that's one thing to take into consideration. It's, there's some thoughts for Main Street to try not only to help redevelopment, but to, reduce some clutter, over signage. Pole signs have kind of been, a topic of conversation from staff on and off recently too. Wall signs are really nicely designed. I know facade improvements are gonna, they're gonna try to help promote facade improvements in the area. I don't know if this building would need a facade improvement due to what it looks like now. It seems to be very well maintained. It really looks nice. That's one thing that I'm not concerned. The ground sign though potentially could, is there any plans for the ground sign?
We
The wa-
want your blessing first, so we could start thinking with the next step, for sure.
So long term, I can't, if the whole thing has to be rebuilt, I can't guarantee it will be able to be rebuilt. If you're just potentially, just changing the face of the sign, the sign is legal and it is there, but if we're talking about some major changes, we'll be able to work with you, but I can't guarantee 100% that it will be.
At the present time, I think we gonna maintain the sign as is, basically just adding the place
Business
names.
name.
Yes.
Yeah, I know the building facade doesn't have too much room to add a full nice wall sign on it, so just wanted to throw that out there to make sure.
No problem.
Long-term staff would be, more than welcome to work with you, but I can't guarantee that long-term that, pole signs are gonna be, emphasized in this area if that redevelopment plan does get pushed and some code changes get approved.
I believe that the new owners, they are in it for a long run. They're purchasing the building. They wanted to be there for quite a long time. They want to serve the community. Most of them very young and they want to expand. So I would say that whatever comes after in the process, and if we have to improve or do, I think they're very open-minded to basically meet whatever the Village of Skokie is needed.
Okay, we'll work with you.
No, and absolutely not. It was just something that we thought you should be made aware of, because as it is right now, we're just dealing in hypotheticals. It's a study that's been approved. Nothing's been finalized yet. There's, so to try and impose anything on you guys would be completely irresponsible and quite frankly, not very businesslike. So, but it's something that we felt that we should at least bring up to you, so. All right, does anybody have any questions of the petitioners at all? Nothing? Anybody in the audience like to say anything about the petition, about the case at all?
We're all on the same team, buddy.
You're all on the same team. Oh, that's good. That's nice that everybody's got their support group with them. Well, if there's nothing else in this case, then the chair will go ahead and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to grant a variance.
Please proceed.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I propose the following in the granting of a variance to the petitioner as follows: that Minas Garibian, on behalf of Melvin and Jasmine Dillard, is the owner of the lot described in case number 2023-2Z for the property located at 4233 Main Street, Skokie, Cook County, Illinois. That said lot is a plotted lot of record and is abutted by on the north R2 single-family detached residence, south R2 single-family detached residence, east B1 service commercial office retail, and west B1 service commercial office retail. That a determination has been made in which the petitioner's request is consistent with the majority of the findings of fact as stated in the Village of Skokie zoning chapter. I therefore propose that a variance be granted to the petitioner forgiving failure to comply with the requirements of the zoning ordinance of the Village of Skokie as amended as to off-street parking. That the petitioner be granted the variance to operate a dentist office resulting in 10 off-street parking spaces provided rather than 12 off-street parking spaces as required by section 118-218-4 of the zoning chapter of the Skokie Village Code in a B1 commercial district, and the sidewalk along Main Street will need to get replaced per Village of Skokie standards, and the gravel area in the Main Street right-of-way must, west of the existing driveway, be replaced with grass, top seed, and seed or sod.
Okay.
That all other codes and ordinances of the Village of Skokie shall be fully and strictly complied with.
Beautiful. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have well, it was his first presentation, so awesome. So we have a motion to approve with the two conditions as stated. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Perlin seconds it. So the chair will go ahead and call the roll. Commissioner Pollak?
Aye.
Commissioner Arden?
Yes.
Commissioner Worth?
Yes.
Commissioner Perlin?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirkpatrick?
Aye.
And Commissioner Solovey?
Yes.
And the chair will vote aye. So in the case of 2023-02Z, the motion to approve with conditions has been agreed upon unanimously. So, Corporation Counsel, what does the petitioner need to know from here on out?
Yeah, I was speaking with Brian, and I don't think that a covenant is gonna be required in this case because if another business moves in, we'd wanna analyze that use and not lock the property into 10 spaces. If I'm wrong, I'll let you know, and if a covenant is required, we would get it to the property owner for your signature in a couple of weeks. Other than that, I would defer to the building department as to when you get your permits.
Beautiful.
All right.
We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for bringing your practice into Skokie. We really appreciate it. That 7 Gallery that was there, that was a nice building, and that was a client that was there for a long time, if I'm not mistaken. So it's nice to see a new business pop in there.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck with your
Thank
good
you.
luck with your development. I appreciate it. Good luck with your practice. All right. So, all right. Okay, that's great. So we have that taken care of. Let's see, we don't have any other old business. I believe there's no public comment because everybody's walking out the door right now. So, the only other thing I have to say is that our next meeting, which would be November 1st, is canceled due to lack of cases. However, it looks like we will have a meeting on Wednesday, November 15th.
That is correct.
Awesome, great. Do we know how many cases as of yet?
One case, potentially a few more in queue coming up.
Oh, okay, so we may have something like the first meeting in December.
Potentially. The end of the year will be busier than the first half of the year.
Yeah, well, that's good to know, yeah. I felt a little rusty out tonight, a little out of sync. So hope to remedy that by having more meetings. So, okay, anybody else have anything else to say?
I will not be here on the 15th.
Oh,
I will be in Florence, sorry.
Florence, Italy? Oh, all right, well, awesome. Tell Michelangelo's David we said hello. So, I'd love to go to the Uffizi Gallery one of these days. So, okay, if nothing else, then, this meeting of the Village of Skokie Zoning Board of Appeals is adjourned. Thank you so much.